Welcome back. We are going to see how can we detect, how can we find out the primary structure of a polypeptide chain. This is a very important aspect of protein studies. Identifying the primary structure, that means identifying the sequence of amino acids on the linear polypeptide chain. That is what is called protein sequencing, determining the primary structure. Actually, there are three stages. Stage 1, prepare the protein for sequencing. Stage 2, sequence the chain. And stage 3, organize the completed structure. We need to find out final structure of proteins. Stage 1, how do we prepare the protein for sequencing? First of all, how many polypeptide chains are there in the protein? We need to find out. For example, hemoglobin consists of 4 subunits. Insulin consists of 2 subunits. Sometimes a protein may consist of 5 or 10 or even 15 subunits. And we need to find out how many subunits are there in a protein. That is the first step actually. Then we need to cleave the disulfide bonds between the polypeptide chains and separate the individual subunits usually by means of chromatography, etc. In the last slide we found that there may be interchain disulfide bonds, that different subunits, different chains, different polypeptide chains in a protein are bonded together by means of disulfide bonds. So in order to separate those different subunits, different polypeptide chains, we cleave the disulfide bonds. There are chemical methods for that. Once we cleave the disulfide bond using particular chemical treatment, then we need to separate and purify the individual subunits. Usually this is by means of chromatography, electrophoresis, etc. Okay. Once the polypeptide chains are isolated, what we are going to do? We fragment individual subunits at a specific point. A larger subunit is broken down into several smaller subunits. And each of the each of the fragment subunit is separated and purified. Then we determine the amino acid sequence of each fragment. Repeat step 2a with the fragmentation of the different specificity. We are fragmenting with an enzyme. Say we are using a protease enzyme to fragment it, and we get a few fragments, we identify them. The same protein preparation is again fragmented using a different method. You know why? Because we want to split this polypeptide chain at a different position compared with the first position. So in the second case, we cut the polypeptide chain at a different position. Again we get small fragments. Again we separate and purify them. Again we determine the amino acid sequence of these fragments as well. And what we are going to do now, we are organizing the complete structure. Once we understand the overlapping regions, it is very easy to organize them and to find out the correct order of the amino acids, and thereafter by looking at the position of the cysteine amino acids, we find out the position of the disulfide bond. How do we separate and purify the fragments of polypeptide chains? By chromatography or by electrophoresis. How do we identify the sequence of amino acids on the smaller peptide fragments or on the oligopeptides? By using Sanger's method, Edman degradation, etc. Let us see the same thing using a diagram. Here, this is a protein. In this diagram, this protein consists of 2 polypeptide chains joined together by a disulfide bond. Step 1. Reduce the disulfide bonds and separate the chain. We just break the disulfide bond there. Now the fragments are separated. We separate them. We purify them. We separate and purify them. These different chains by electrophoresis, chromatography, etc. Now we have the chains in different test tubes. Use chemical or enzymatic method to break each polypeptide into smaller fragments. Remember, we are having these polypeptides into a test tube. We have these polypeptides into another test tube. Remember, we are getting a few micrograms of the protein solution. So each of the protein solution we take may consist of hundreds of molecules. So each of this preparation will consist of hundreds of molecules, and this one as well, which we may later purify using chromatography, etc. And using a chemical or enzymatic methods, we break down the polypeptide chains, and this chain also is broken. What is this blue one? The fragments formed when a method is used for hydrolysis. These are the fragments formed when a different method is used for hydrolysis. That means the site of fragmentation here is different from the site of fragmentation here. Now what we are going to do, using Sanger's method, Edman's method, etc., we find out the sequence of the amino acids on the different polypeptide chain. Here the first fragment, first oligopeptide is a tripeptide threonine aspartic acid isoleucine. The second one consists of phenylalanine, cysteine, tyrosine and lysine. The third one consists of glycine, valine, alanine, glycine and arginine. While here the first one consists of serine, glycine and glutamic acid. The second one consists of histidine, asparagine, tyrosine, cysteine, phenylalanine and arginine. And here we are using different fragments. Here we are using different methods to break down proteins into different fragments. Blue one is from this, violet one is from this, blue one is from this, violet one is from this. Okay. Now we can compare them. How to compare? Look here. We can compare them in different methods. For example, arginine is with phenylalanine in one fragment, and there is a breaking here. So we keep these two fragments near like this because arginine is with the phenylalanine. Here there is a breakage between phenylalanine and cysteine, and that is clear here, phenylalanine and cysteine. So once we identify the amino acids, we write them down into a paper and we can easily join them just like a jigsaw puzzle, and we get the sequence of the polypeptide chain. Once we identify the amino acids on the polypeptide chain, the remaining is very much easy. By means of overlapping method, using a pencil and a paper, we can do it. And we repeat the fragmentation without breaking the disulfide bonds, and we identify which are the cysteines engaged in disulfide bond formation. For example, here there is a cysteine here, here there is a cysteine here. There is no confusion. Disulfide bond formation is between this cysteine and this cysteine of the different chains. But in some cases, the chain may contain more than one cysteines. That time we need to break down the parent chains without breaking disulfide bond to find out the position of disulfide bonds. And how can we identify the amino acid sequence? Usually we identify the N-terminal amino acids one by one at a time. Then we remove those N-terminal amino acid. Then we identify the next N-terminal amino acid and so on. So how are we doing it? We have different methods. We will see that in the next slide.